Andrew, there's been a lot of talk about the Eagle Ford Shale and the Marcellus Shale. What are they, and what do they mean for your companies?
Sure. Fundamentally, in the oil and gas business, when I look at it, the quest for resources is the quest for inventory. What companies want is something that provides years of visibility, which ultimately kind of gets down to the consumer. Will the consumer be able to heat his home for multiple years in the future? And shale gas, because of its relative youth, in the oil and gas mix, it's very young in terms of our producing it, and kind of these different plays, the Eagle Ford, the Haynesville, the Bakken, the Marcellus, they're all plays that are scattered throughout North America that industry has been trying to tap to kind of provide that inventory for the future.
Now, how young is this production?
Well, the kind of shale play that started them all is the Barnett Shale, and that's really outside and under Fort Worth, Texas. People had been producing that, excuse me, since the, I think, 1990s, but in terms of really ramping up the volume of production, that only happened in the last decade. And if you look at the Marcellus was also a formation that was produced in the 80s.
It's through the Appalachians? Where is
Yeah, it's outside. It's parts of Pennsylvania, it's parts of New York, parts of West Virginia. And, I mean, folks, of course, the oil business started in Pennsylvania 150 years ago. So, folks are just going back to the same rocks, the same basins. The old analogy is, where's the best place to find oil and gas is where you've already found oil and gas. So it's just by using new technology and kind of lower costs, we're trying to find a way to get that gas to market. Now, places like the Marcellus are very interesting because they are so close to the major markets.
Now, if you were to play shale from a market perspective, who's best positioned in your group to sort of capitalize on those reserves?
Well, to stay with the theme of the upgrades yesterday, I think Continental Resources, which is the largest player in the Bakken oil shale, and according to the USGS, we're talking about something like 3 to 5 billion barrels of recoverable oil in place. And Continental has over 650,000 net acres prospective for that. And if you figure that's something like 1,000 to 2,000 wells, possibility being drilled on that play, not including downspacing. So, with them running 15 rigs this year, drilling somewhere on the order of 100 wells, that gives you many, many years of additional inventory to provide oil to the U.S. markets.
Now, you had mentioned this is in proximity, is close to New York City, and I know they're pretty big opponents of exploring this area. Do you think that that's going to get hung up in regulation? I mean, is the government going to care about the water? I
mean, there's certainly, there's no reason to do anything that's unsafe, and I don't think anybody.
I think Chesapeake has said that they're not going to go into that area.
That sounds correct. But I'm not positive. In general, the oil and gas industry doesn't want to hurt anybody, damage their reputation, et cetera. So, everyone is trying to find what the best solution is. But, fundamentally, if we don't have natural gas fracturing, we probably don't have natural gas supplies. Because, the vast majority of wells have to be naturally fractured, and it's just up to industry and government, and citizens to kind of work together to find the most kind of sensible solution.
Great. Thank you, Andrew.